Please rise. The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John.
Glory to you, Lord.
There was a festival of the Jews, and Jesus went to Jerusalem. Now in Jerusalem, by the sheep gate, there was a pool, called in Hebrew Bethesda, which has 5 porticos. In these lay many invalids, blind, lame, and paralyzed. One man was there who had been ill for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had been there a long time, Jesus said to him, "Do you want to be made well?" The sick man answered him, "Sir, I have no one to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up, and while I'm making my way, someone else steps down ahead of me." Jesus said to him, "Stand up, take your mat and walk." At once the man was made well, and he took up his mat and began to walk. Now that day was a Sabbath, so the Jews said to the man who had been cured, "It is a Sabbath, it's not lawful for you to carry your mat." But he answered them, "The man who made me well said to me, 'Take up your mat and walk.'" They asked him, "Who is the man who said to you, 'Take it up and walk'?" The man who had been healed did not know who it was, for Jesus disappeared in the crowd that was there. Later Jesus found him in the temple and said to him, "See, you have been made well. Do not sin anymore, so that nothing worse happens to you." The man went away and told the Jews that it was Jesus who had made him well. Therefore the Jews started persecuting Jesus because he was doing such things on the Sabbath. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
There are different stories of people meeting Jesus, meeting him, and maybe having it all change. And for me, it's happened at different times in my life, maybe all adding up to one. And one was, and there are some that may be watching that have seen this. There were some staff working at my school, which was not Catholic, but these people now work at Carrick Catholic, and knew what an awkward teenager I was. And it was a week after feeling that I didn't have any friends in high school, and I was asked to be in the worship band that sang Christian songs in front of everyone, and I didn't know why I said yes to this, but one song this one week, singing in front of the whole school, was about Jesus, and I just got down in the middle of the song on my knees. Yes, very awkward to show how I actually felt during that song. And I was not big into showing off or to look more religious than others, but I just felt my knees turn to jello and felt like I had to express love to Jesus. I can't remember the song, but only thinking that, God, it's only what you think of me that matters. You, Jesus. It doesn't matter if I don't have any friends. You can make everything right. And today, as we hit almost a little midpoint of Lent, we might feel like nothing has happened. I didn't meet Jesus yet this Lent. But today, we meet him in the gospel. And what is he according to the gospel? Healing water. He uses healing water to heal. In the first reading, talks about a different sea, but it's actually the Dead Sea, if you've ever been there in Israel. It's dead because nothing grows from it. It's so salty. But God will come and purify it and make it a lake again, a real lake. But God also speaks of a time in this reading here when the new temple rituals, the sacraments according to the church, water will heal through this. And that's why the church is not too excited about live stream masses. Yes, it's okay on a weekday if you can't get to Mass, but we can only experience it. We can only fulfill our Sunday obligation asked to us by the successors of the apostles if we are there to meet Jesus in person in the sacrament, to really meet him, not a Zoom meeting, but to meet Jesus in the sacrament, to have the literal cool waters bless our bodies as we take the holy water used in our baptism to bless ourselves as we come in, to have himself come to us in the sacrament that looks like bread and wine, but it's him, real, physical, just like the vision that Ezekiel foresees of the temple during the Dead Sea. And so we have a man also today that meets Jesus, who symbolizes all of us. But this man is not a symbol. It really did happen. He really did get healed, but it's also meant to show us what a meeting with Jesus would look like. And there's a great TV series endorsed by the bishops called The Chosen that captures this encounter. And I'll read a little bit of the script for us here. Shalom, I have a question for you, Jesus says to the paralyzed man. For me, the paralyzed man responds, who symbolizes all of us that need healing from sin, bad beliefs, bad habits. And the paralyzed man continues, I don't have many answers, but I'm listening, Jesus. Do you want to be healed? Jesus says. Who are you? The paralyzed man responds, asking who Jesus is to ask such a crazy question. Jesus says, we'll get to that later, but my question remains. Do you want to be healed? The paralyzed man responds, will you take me to the water? Look, I'm having a really bad day. Jesus responds, you've been having a day for a very long time. He says the same to me and to you who need him. Paralyzed man responds, Sir, I have no one to help me into the water when it's stirred up, and when I do get close, the others step down in front of me, and so the paralyzed man says this, thinking that something else will heal him. Maybe medicine, maybe the right treatment, maybe the right relationship where we feel worthwhile, loved. And Jesus says, look at me. Look at me. That's not what I asked. I'm not asking you about who's not helping you or who's getting in your way. I'm asking about you. And the paralytic man starts to sob, and the chosen saying, I've tried. For a long time, I know. And I know you don't want false hope again, Jesus says. Jesus responds again. But this pool, it has nothing for you. It means nothing, and you know it. But you're still here. Why? Paralytic whispers, I don't know. Jesus says, you don't need this pool. You only need me. So do you want to be healed? So let's go. Get up. Pick up your mat and walk. Brothers and sisters, he gets up. I get up. You get up. You don't need that pool. You only need Jesus. Jesus says to us today, so you want to be healed? So let's go. Get up. Pick up your mat. Leave everything holding us back behind and walk.